Is my Discord camera still good? You can still see it?
Yep.
Okay. I just needed to make sure that was going. Okay. All right. So this is.
Nick. No.
All right. So they've taken all this agency away, and your close range normals at range 0. This is the goal. This is what you want. This is the part where you start to harass your opponent and start to force, strike throw mix-ups and stagger pressure and, frame traps and things of that nature. Y'all get it. Y'all know what frame traps are. America likes talking about frame data a lot, right? We got to understand what frame traps are, right? So in those games, those modern Street Fighter games that have actively taken away proximity normals, okay, we're not talking about those games. I just wanted to highlight that. But when your game has proximity normals, close range proximity normals, range 0, point blank range, smelling a breath range, okay? And I have to, like I said, I got to break it down like that for people who come from Mortal Kombat and they've never heard of a proximity normal because that game doesn't have them, okay? If I say proximity normal, they be like, huh? You mean close range normal? Well, this is close range. This close is short. That means you got to get close to your... Nah, bro, that ain't it. That's not it. Okay. So, your goal, range 0, okay? Now, the reason why wake up throw is necessary is because... the reason why wake up throw is necessary, here, let me put this guy in here, somebody familiar. The reason why wake up one frame throw is necessary is because, especially in games where we have fast movement, where you're able to quickly get to range 0 to put on your most threatening strike, throw, stagger pressure, mix-ups and frame traps, right? That's not fair that you have to wake up to that if you just got a hard knockdown and you have to deal with that. So the next best thing that you have in your repertoire for defensive agency would be a wake-up throw if your opponent is trying to threaten with that, which means I'm going to use somebody who's more traditional so that they can see, somebody that they're familiar with, Terry. So we got Terry and T-Zoc. We're gonna put this in a KOF framing now, right? And why T-Zoc will never be able to do what Dinosaur can do, and this is why King of Dinosaurs is way better than T-Zoc in City of the Wolves. And if they don't give T-Zoc armor on his EX grab, he is not a grappling character because that's a 5-frame ass throw. He can't threaten you. So this is what tight pressure looks like and why you shouldn't be afraid of 1-frame throws if your execution is tight. Okay? I was sloppy right there, right? He did his 1-frame throw. Okay, I was sloppy right there. But this is what it looks like if it's tight. He doesn't have a chance to do it, right? So when the throws become 5 frames, when the throws come out at like goddamn it 5 frames, and no armor or invincibility, you ain't got nothing, that makes your wake up Oki to defend yourself. This is what makes offense feel brain dead and overwhelming. This is the part that people are talking about. That, remember that part that I talked about earlier? They got y'all to hate rainwater in the desert when your body is, made up of 80% water and your mouth's parched, but they said, no, you got to go get your water from a cactus to prove your worth, right? Okay? So you can't... Dehydration. Dry as fuck. Mouth parched and shit. So if you don't have a 1-frame throw to protect you against a game where you have proximity normals that let you put that kind of pressure on your opponent, that's kind of overwhelming, right? But that doesn't mean your Oki is dead. It just means you have to be more conscious about your spacing when applying Oki, which means in order to beat that, you'd have to just take a half step back so that you're out of regular throw range. Obviously, this is a command grab character, so for my example, I can't illustrate that because that command grab is going to get snatched. But I can do this, Okay. Let's say I knock this guy down, right? Oops. Let's say I knock this guy down. Is that airborne? Let me see. I think it is airborne.
Is that Godzilla?
Right? No, that's King of
damn.
Dinosaurs. I wouldn't close it.
I couldn't even turn the power on. I don't know whether it was that.
Okay. So you got one frame throws on wake up. All right. So, but what happens if I take a step back? Oops. What happens if I take a step back? I'm out of throw range. All I do is take a step back. You still got Oki. You still do Oki. You know, still there. Y'all just, you know, want it to be easy. So when you take out one frame throws, this is what offense looks like in modern Street Fighter games where the throws are freaking 5 frames or more. This is what offense looks like. And y'all tell me if I'm wrong on this when you watch this shit, right? This is what offense looks like. All that fake pressure, you know, or then if you got drive rush, you know, like, what the fuck? And all of that with 5 frame throws is real under the Street Fighter meta. That's real pressure. And your only choice is to mash out an EX-DP, since they don't have invincible DPs without metered resource, which is one of the 4 pillars of the things that you need to defend yourself in close quarters. So they got y'all to hate invincible DPs because they got y'all to regurgitate things like, oh, mashing out invincible DPs is scrubby. They shouldn't have invincible DPs to break my sloppy pressure and sloppy timing.
Sloppy seconds.
Yeah, sloppy seconds. Yeah, they shouldn't have things that you know, beat up my poor habits. They shouldn't be allowed to have that. And they got y'all to agree, you know, and they even packed it with word salad and made it sound smart and intelligent, you know.
Salad.
Yeah, buzzword salad with bullshit dressing. Topped with bullshit dressing, right? And you know, America loves to sound smart. America loves to sound smart, you know, and that's why they always use the big buzzwords and shit like that. And that's why they keep telling y'all, oh, neutral, rift punish, please patience. You knowing that none of that shit works.
Patience.
Yeah, patience. Yeah. Knowing none of that shit works. Yeah, they'll probably make up a term, right? Patience. Yeah, it's patience, and spacing is patience. New buzzword.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, and they know none of that shit works outside of American fucking soil, right?
Right.
But anyway, back to the one frame throws. And the reason why you have to have that is to give a defensive agency to the defender, the person getting hit, the person you know, taking those punches, right? You need to be able to, like, okay, hold on, stop hitting me, but reach out and grab him, put him on his back when the pressure ain't real, when you just throwing haymakers, and you can grab his chest, and you get center control, and you do stuff to him. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Yeah, I'm violent like that sometimes, right?
I'm listening.
See my mind there. Press play. But anyway, so when the pressure is sloppy, one frame checks need to be there. So sloppy pressure will look like this. Yep. Let me do the thing. I'm failing now. All right, cool. And then I'll hop over to City of the Wolves and show you the difference. I was just about to do a crouching leg kick, got snatched up, but it was sloppy timing, right? Okay, so now that you see that, now that you've seen the importance of one frame throws, keep that framing. Check this out, all right? Let's go straight on over to modern Street Fighter meta. Okay. We're gonna go over to a modern Street Fighter meta-based game, City of the Wolves. And you're gonna see this shit in real time. I don't think I showed this to you before. But I'm gonna show you this shit. And then you're gonna learn why Tzok is just a freaking mascot in this game, and why Potemkin is cooking in Strive. People are actually afraid of Potemkin in Strive. Why? Because his command grab, even though it's 5 frames, it has armor, right? Why is that important? Oh my God, armor is cheap. He shouldn't be able to grab me. Again, this is going back to the Street Fighter guys. Street Fighter players hate being thrown. Okay, so of course they're gonna say that because Street Fighter players want to just sit still and do nothing. So anything that doesn't let them sit still and do nothing, on top of having brain dead offense when they decide to go on offense, when they feel confident enough that their opponent can't shut down their brain dead offense. Oh, damn, did I touch on a pain point? I wasn't supposed to say that out loud, was I? Oh, damn. Anyway, let's get back to it. Let's see what it looks like in Street Fighter meta.
Head ass.
Yeah. So let's get this party started. Get it cracking like chap lips. What's I'm talking about?
Up shit.
I'm gonna show you this. There's no 30 in the morning, but we talking fighting games today. All right. All right. Gotta go 2-lane because it ain't Fatal Fury if it ain't 2-lane. Okay, so where's Scowy Towie? Yeah, that shows you how much I played this game. I can't find them right up there. Why am I that old? Oh, there you go. Yeah, you were invisible to me because this is not Fatal Fury in its current form. All right.
Yeah.
Is that a custom map?
No,
Yeah.
that custom map. No, that's
Oh, I'm sorry. I was commenting on the other.
Oh, he's about
Well,
the other screen.
I did want to ask you, right?
Yeah.
So
See that, right? See that, right?
I'm gonna let you continue your point.
Yeah.
Your
All right. So you see that? See how it says startup 5 frames, right? My throw is 5 frames. His EX command grab, right, is 5 frames and no armor. See? So I said reversal. Okay, so that means that's what he's set to do. And no armor, right? So this is how it looks. Watch this. I should have been snatched up. Let's look at that again. Oh, well, maybe it was because you weren't close enough, which is also a crime because that's a metered move. So why doesn't it have range or armor? All right, this is why Tzok is a mascot. This is why he's a joke. Right here. What the? That was a light. That was a jumping A into standing C. I should have been snatched, but because his throw comes out at 5 frames, he gets hit on top of EX. Look at this. I should be getting snatched up. You see this?
Type.
Are you seeing this? I should be getting snatched. But because the throw is 5 frames, same thing for regular throws on wake up, or when you're blocking a shallow jump in, you know, like that. Okay. That they took, yeah, it's pretty crazy, ain't it? They've taken it away, you know, with this modern Street Fighter meta. So again, your 1 frame throw, your scramble check tool. So that's 2 scramble check tools that they've taken away from you. That's the 1 frame throw in close range and invincible DPs without meter. Damn, this ain't looking good, is it? What else did they take away from you? Fast movement, you know, fast unimpeded movement. Why is it that the last few characters that have all come out aren't able to do this? Why aren't they able to run? All of them are all dashers. I got my own reasons why. I feel like, you know, the reason that all of the new characters that are coming out have been dashers is because the audience that they're catering to is the Street Fighter crowd. Street Fighter crowd hates Rashid because he can do this. Running. Right? Y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? The Street Fighter crowd isn't used to characters that can run, not named Rashid. So if you start to come out with a whole lot of other characters in this game that was designed, even though it says Fatal Fury, SNK designed this game to attract the Street Fighter crowd. This game is not made for Fatal Fury players. This game is not made for 90s arcade-based SNK fighting game fans. This Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, in its current form, is not made for fighting game players, especially those that are based on 90s arcade fighting values. Now, it's funny because Event Hubs recently put out a glaze piece about the art style of City of the Wolves and how 90s and retro it looks, like an old school arcade fighting game. Oh, we love it when it looks like an old school 90s arcade fighting game.
Not when it plays like one.
Not when it plays like one. How about that? You know, it's just something to that, right? So this is why I say, you know, this is what the part of this thing that I'm calling out and why I've been, you know, banned in multiple discords and my locals. Right? Is because I'm pointing out the facade. I'm pointing out the things that they don't want to talk about. You know, Injustice having 10 frame throws, Mortal Kombat having 10 frame throws and all that with 20 frame break windows. Who is this game made for? Not people who play fighting games.
Wow.
Not people who have developed, you know, the skills and execution, you know, based on 90s arcade fighting games that require tighter, you know, demands on execution. And they got y'all distracted away from things like this by talking about things that don't even matter when it comes to conversation. You know, we're making all these games with simple inputs, simpler inputs, easier leniency and all this and that and the third, made for the American audience that refuses to touch games like KOF that expose all of those bad habits that games that are made like Street Fighter 6 and City of the Wolves and Mortal Kombat lets people who don't know how to play fighting games or have a very limited fighting game literacy. KOF checks all of that, shuts all of that down. So going back again to name the 4 pillars that the defender, while they're getting hit and while they're blocking, should have access to at all times, but they've taken it away from you. And again, all of the DLC in City of the Wolves recently have all been just short dashers. Let me show you what that looks like versus Terry's running. Let me show you what that looks like. Hold on, let me go back here. Or what's this girl, Hotaru, running, right? I can't find a character select. There we go. Let me show you what that nonsense looks like. Having to dash, you know.
Crazy.
Yeah, and first off, adding a 5th button to Fatal Fury. Fatal Fury was never a 5-button game. Oh, that's because it was the people who worked on it were Strive players. Yeah, and who was Strive made for? They made it closer to Street Fighter to get Street Fighter people to play it. Now let's go back to while I'm talking about throws, let's talk about King of Fighters 13 and the infamous, lone patch. It was like one patch that they came out with. So before the patch, in King of Fighters 13, Clark, we're talking about Clark. Clark didn't have armor on his command grab. He had 2 versions. He had the slow startup version at 14 frames, but it ain't had no armor on it. And then he had the 1 frame snatch you up version. I got you, you know.
Damn.
And before then, he was bottom tier. When they gave him the patch, when they put out the patch and they gave him armor on that, all of a sudden Clark shot up from Ramon tier to mid tier, and he became an infamous threat at the mid tier range on its own. You know, the Clarkening. You know, Clark is infamous now because Clark has fast movement. He can run and tackle you from across the screen. He has fast movement, which is one of the pillars of the defender that the defender needs. And he has one frame throws.
OP.
No, it's not OP. It's necessary. And also reactable in the situation. People think it's OP because they think, oh, well, you can't react to a one frame throw. That's only half true. You can't react to the one frame throw itself. You can only react to the situation in which that throw can happen. And,
Luigi's Mansion.
and then even with an 11 frame window, that's still pretty generous, right? You know, considering how fast this game is. So look at Terry being able to run versus freaking Vox having a dash. Or any other character that has to dash. Come on, man. Come on now. Remember what I said. Fast, unimpeded movement. This is not unimpeded movement.
Right.
This is movement with restrictions. This is fast movement with restrictions. You know, just like we have evasion, you know, with extra conditions. Right? So all of the characters in City of the Wolves have been coming out as dashers to not scare the Street Fighter crowd. Because this crowd, the Street Fighter crowd, is what this game was made for, right? So now, you got, again, let's look at it. That's when it's tight. I should have been eaten up. Come on, man. I should have been eaten up. Especially if that man is using a meter. No armor on it? Clark couldn't play the game until he got armor on his command grab against fast, close-range scrambles.
Wow.
My video isn't showing, is it?
No, you good.
Uh-oh.
You good. Clark couldn't play the game until then, right?
Well up in this motherfucker,
So that's
in my nose.
That's why Potemkin is a threat. That's why Potemkin is still threatening in Stride. Because he's got a 5-frame throw, but not only does it have good range, it also has armor on it. Okay, if you're gonna make the throw slow, fine, at least give it armor, right? But this right here, this is nonsense. This is nonsense.
Madness.
This is absolute nonsense. Right?
This is madness.
Absolute madness. This is why America runs from KOF 15 and Virtua Fighter, is because those games have a fair check and balance system and a symbiotic relationship between the attacker and the defender, in which the defender, even while under duress of blocking and getting hit and receiving damage, the defender remains present and aware of the situations that are occurring in real time, so that the defender develops the ability to spot inconsistencies in the opponent's timing, spot where the opponent's timing was sloppy, and react accordingly. But since they've taken away 1-frame throws and invincible DPs without meter, guess what? This offense is gonna feel brain dead, overwhelming, unga bunga, or whatever other derogatory term you have for people that want to destroy you so fast that you don't have a chance to figure out which way is up.
Dr. Dickheads.
Type shit, right? So this is why we run from King of Fighters 15. So let's cover it again. Why? Let's go back to King of Fighters 15 here real quick, and then I'm gonna end the stream, because I just wanted it to be a short stream. I just wanted to show this off at 30 in the morning, you know, so I can upload it to YouTube later.
Type.
So the importance of the 1-frame throw is not only to be used by the defender, which we've already established that y'all don't want the defender to have any access to anything because you guys romanticize the illusion about the so-called quote-unquote checkmate situations as if fighting is related to chess. And people who think fighting is in the same fashion as chess have never been in a fight, and they don't know how to fight, and they don't have any martial arts background. So you should be looking at those people with a side eye. Why, you know, come on. Anyway, let's go back to this. Let's go back to this. And I'm not gonna edit this video because I'm not a content creator. Beasts of a feather flock together. That's right. What's up? What up, Rich? That's a real one checking in. He know what's up. Real ones know what that means. Beasts of a feather flock together. That's right.
Damn.
So yeah, let me show you what this looks like and why one frame throws are important. Let's go back to characters you're familiar with because we know America runs on familiarity and comfort zones. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to King of Dinosaurs, who is better than Tizak, by the way. Sensei Iron Toes, you already know. You know, put my big toe through a cookie sheet. Who you know can do it like me? Straight off the top of the dome, no need to rehearse when we talk about. Shout out to Turquoise G. Flint flossing them, humming them. You know what I'm saying? Cashmere and them. Pretty Raheem on the track. All right, so I gotta set it up. Is it still set? Yep, so he's still set for one frame throws. So this is why one frame throws are also important on offense. So when we have, again, the 4 pillars, fast movement, KOF has that. He says, yo, my dojo teaches Krav Maga. I love Krav Maga. It's actually legit. It's fire. I agree. I love the no nonsense and direct approach to Krav Maga's, you know, methods. It's just maximum damage in the least amount of time. No nonsense, nothing pretty about it. I love it. And that's why I like KOF, you know, because there's nothing pretty about KOF, right? As far as, you know, what I mean by that is I'm talking about the game is chaotic, and that's what I love about it. I can see in the chaos while the average American FGC player just sees, oh my God, I'm being overwhelmed. Everything is happening so fast. Oh my God. Oh. So anyway, fast movement, which we have, combined with fast one frame throws. Yo, what up, Black Tiger? How you living, man? Krav Maga is really hit or miss depending on the gym. Most places teach bullshit. Yeah, you're right, McDojos. Yeah, America, especially in America, we love posturing. Yes. American FGC is just Jake Paul at this point, right?
It's the McDojos.
McDojos, yeah, you know what I'm saying? American FGC is running on Jake Paul time right now, right? And then all the international players are Anthony Joshua's. Okay, food for thought. So when we have fast movement and fast throws, you can use this to attack your opponent. So the fastest run stop timing is 15 frames. So that means when you're in about hop distance away, not only can you threaten with a hop in attack, you can threaten with a run in low. You could threaten with a run in. You could threaten with a run in mid. Threaten with a run in low, which chains into a mid. You can run in and just block. Okay, cool. Hell, you could run in and DP if you're really respectful when you catch your opponent trying to stop you from running in to do, you know, this. Run in one frame throw, okay? So just think, from about this range right here, at hop distance, you can threaten 4 or 5 different ways on your opponent, and this is the part that makes people uncomfortable, right? So even though I'm not in proximity range, again, the goal is to get into range 0, back to range 0, but in order to do that, I need to make them afraid to press buttons and you know, make the wrong choices when I'm about this far away. Because when I'm about that far away, I can threaten with, you know, hop, you know, excuse me. Yeah, my execution trash, y'all. I'm trying to hop backwards. Okay. All right, so when I'm about this range, I can threaten with a hop in attack. I can threaten with a run in low. No, excuse me, run in mid. I can threaten with that, you know. From this range, I can also press a button if your character has a button that can reach that range. I can run in and do nothing and bait my opponent trying to press out attacks to see which buttons they like to press before I run in and, just run in to do a disrespectful DP to get them to look for that disrespectful DP, and it never happens again. And then I just, get in and conditioning from that range. Right? KOF exposes all the stuff that you guys learned under modern Street Fighter meta framing. And that's why out of all 20 of your top 20 American fighting game GOATs, there's only one of them that's not a fraud, and that's Justin Wong. He's the only one that also has Virtua Fighter and King of Fighters in their background. None of your other so-called American fighting game GOATs have Virtua Fighter or King of Fighters in their background. Oops, wasn't supposed to say that one out loud, now was I? So by their own measure and by their own measuring stick and criteria, all your other fighting game GOATs not called Justin Wong are fraudulent. But even Justin Wong runs from King of Fighters 15 and Virtua Fighter. Yeah. Something to think about, right? Yep. All right, y'all. I just wanted to keep it short. I'm Fame Douglas, F.Doug, Uncle Fame, all of the above. The most known you ain't never heard of. Comment below. Discuss. Talk about it. Like, share,
Damn,
follow,
I gotta change my controls.
subscribe, all of that. Oh, shout out to Black Tiger on a 10-stream streak. Yo, real talk. Thank you for that. That's a real one tapping in. He says, Rich says, oh, he's wrong, guys. If you want to play like the best, you gotta play neutral. Wink. You gotta play neutral. Wink, wink. Hey, that stuff only works in America. But don't tell everybody else that. Shh. That's why Blaz keeps destroying Punk. That's why Mena RD keeps destroying Punk. Shh. Don't tell everybody. Neutral is a facade. Playing patient and playing smart and making smart decisions and making right reads is a facade. Oh my God, my mic was still on, my fault. Fame Douglas, F.Doug, Uncle Fame, all of the above, the most known you ain't never heard of, your favorite FGC villain, and SNK purist. Expand your fighting game literacy today. Play King of Fighters 15 and you'll see everything else and all the other fighting games in your own comfort zone. It'll make everything else seem like it's in slow motion, and it'll give you godlike understanding of fighting games. And he says, now play Smash. Hey, ironically enough, Smash is based on KOF DNA, but that's a video for another day. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time. Yeah, Max Powers ain't got nothing on me. Ha! Max Powers, I'm coming for you. Okay.